In an explosive incident that sent shockwaves through Hollywood's elite circles, the Duchess of Sussex was subjected to a humiliating public rebuke at the hands of two of entertainment's biggest power players. At the world premiere of Marvel's highly anticipated Deadpool/Wolverine crossover film, Meghan Markle's surprise appearance quickly devolved into chaos as actors Ryan Reynolds and producer Emma Watts bluntly told her, "You're not a guest here." According to multiple eyewitness accounts, the dramatic confrontation unfolded shortly after Markle arrived unceremoniously on the red carpet outside the iconic TCL Chinese Theatre. Donning a skin-tight black Versace dress that could generously be described as risque, the former royal waved to fans and paparazzi with her signature Sussex slither strut, all while exhibiting what one longtime publicist referred to as a utterly grating air of delusional thirstiness. She just kind of appeared out of nowhere after the stretching line of talent had made their way inside, recalled one longtime Hollywood insider situated near the premium photo pit. Next thing you know, here comes Meghan like a Bloomingdale's Mariah at a kabuki, wearing this crazy dress slit way up past her hip bone with one of those stuck-on fishnets numbers and a face baked in more makeup than Monsieur Louboutin's entire assembly line. From there, the scene rapidly deteriorated into equal parts second-hand embarrassment and bewildered confusion as Markle nonchalantly glided past the phalanx of credentialed event security teams and red ropes clearly delineating her from any authorized permit zone area access. Undeterred, the Duchess was observed throwing air kisses and posing relentlessly like a brazenly unchecked gatecrasher determined to carpet bomb the entire proceedings. She gave no f's who she upstaged or whose spotlight she attempted to blatantly hijack for a promotional hashtag of the Sussex Focus Poll, the source continued. After chucking a small chandelier's worth of diva boomerangs and duck faces at the poor livestream crews, Meghan then did this patented, 1000% beyond Buckingham hair toss to twirl around and barge right in through the theater's main entrance as all the seat fillers were being roped in. It was at that point Reynolds and Watts evidently recognized and rapidly intercepted the Duchess as she made moves into the lobby to work towards slipping into an empty auditorium seat. The two longtime friends and renowned industry heavyweights were seen appearing to physically block her path after a few words, with Meghan letting out a clearly distraught yelp screaming something about, but the proletariat huddled masses were howling for their Meg Kinglier. "Yeah, I was right there and saw the whole cringe fest just completely combust before my very eyes," a horrified marketing executive added. Ryan really laid into Megs with something like, "For FS sake, we finally stopped promoting for 2 minutes and you pull this outrageously thirsty PR stunt to siphon from our shine?" While Emma just stood there playing violent heavy, snarling, "You are not a FNG guest here and need to leave before we make a scene beyond your wildest insta-whoring dreams." From there, nearly a dozen corroborating accounts describe Markle careening into a signature spiral of fragility, whipping her wildly contoured facial mask around in exacerbated whiplash while blubbering out increasingly indignant self-victimization pleas of apparent persecution. At one point, she was overheard wildly accusing Walt Disney Studios of spearheading an embargo of her birthright media anointment into the metaverse pantheon as retaliation for asserted transgressions committed by the House of Windsor. "I always knew Tinkerbell and those old Fantasian crones were still out to unravel Duchess disingenuigance just because Prince Charming needed a nice fairy tale war to perpetuate their magic circles bounded hexes upon my family quintessence." Markle is said to have theatrically ranted into the cellular void as studio handlers and FX specialists gawked in slack-jawed embarrassment. "Well, it won't work, you racist courtesan cabals. Just like the Grammy deacons of delightness learned last month when I revealed their attempts to carbon score my melanated harmonics at the People's Choice Awards." While admittedly lacking crucial context for her peculiar word salad of imagined persecution, production insiders contend her limelight-starved double victim complex about bloodline consummation and deprivation of multimedia birthrights was simply par for the course. Many have grown numb to the repetitive psychodramas Markle seems to compulsively baseline back to whenever confronted with reality checks. "Oh, that kabuki's always donning some ancestrally disrespected ethereal melanite and squawking ethnicized academic horsesty about suffragette revenants of Duke decolonization or fractalized esoteric heroine pantheons whenever she's the one perpetually creating messy spectacles for clicks," scoffed one wearied producer who's worked with the Duchess on various podcast ops. Standard Meghan, mainlining conspiratorial delusions of thick blogsploitation and melanated motherhouses, falling victim to sultry biases of Pays LeBlancs against her dusky transcendental quintessence being scintillated onto the metaverse superstream. Much like a supernova detonating, however, Markle's indignant meltdown only appeared to intensify after staffers attempted subduing her by insisting Disney's marketing teams warned of forcible removal. According to those present, the reality shattered beyond all comprehension when she likened Deadpool to a balefully scorched ritual mask of race-defacing Uncle tomfoolery. I watched in awe as Meghan theatrically clutched her face like she'd been smacked. I guess this supposed shade against the merc with a mouth was tantamount to being dragged into the cultural sunken place of ridiculousness, one stunned producer noted, still incredulous over the incident 24 hours later. From there, she proceeded to perform perhaps the most exhilaratingly cringe-inducing cell phone soliloquy since Kevin Costner disgraced Hollywood at the '95 post-show. Just poetically droning on about Wolverine being a weaponized projection of how whites jealously circumcise melanated shapeshifters' abilities to reincarnate beyond our petty linear cycles. Those on scene quickly realized things had transitioned into an entirely elevated realm of cultivated chaos. Before theater security was finally able to surround her for detainment, Markle allegedly dropped a shocking revelation, loudly declaring she now refused to ever return Princess Lilibet's soul essence back to Prince Harry's custody until all mystic pomegranate pangenitrix hostilities ceased between the two families. It was definitely a DEFCON 1 moment of biblical weirdness, remembered a nearby cinematographer still processing the events. On one hand, you've got Ryan Reynolds going volcanic about her horrendously disrespectful race science while also worrying this is some hostage situation over his newborn daughter's ectoplasmic avatar or something. Meanwhile, everyone else is paralyzed trying to figure out if Meghan's sad fabulous energy is simply deflecting from actually swindling their baby for some deranged quid pro quo moving target. Unperturbed, the defiant Duchess only upped the ante in her campaign to shunt Disney stakeholders into mystically reinstating supposed astropass quintillionaires of prestige media sovereignty. Undeterred by booze and profanities raining down, Markle began unveiling her maverick rhodium emergency truth parasol, shrugging off physical restraint attempts and crooning sweetheads about restoring the melanative chi-line regalities to studio executives. Yeah, she let out this bestial, gale force howl I'll never be able to unhear while proclaiming herself, she who uncowls the great celestial mammy of the primordial oversoul or some unutterable maternal entity, an eyewitness recounted, visibly shuddering at the memory. Next thing, Meghan's flapping around the arrivals plaza wielding this mangled dumpster sapphic vantasol tied with discarded promotional lanyards, just unintelligibly growling about evening out some orichalcum body gem zero trace omphalos series to light the sacred branded time crystal gateways of intersectional unfurled creative rebellion. With tensions reaching a fever pitch, both Reynolds and Watts quickly extricated themselves and what talent they could shepherd back from the increasingly surreal confrontation zone after issuing final blistering condemnations. While the Vancouver native-born Van simply told photographers, well, Disney upstages are one thing, but this lunatic clearly has a little more going on upstairs beyond just manufactured outrage, the studio boss seemingly pulled no punches. Just walk the fuck away and catch your flight back to the Fernwood Community Theatre you undoubtedly escaped from, Watts bellowed at a deranged Markle writhing in the throes of apparent past life ancestral rebirth contractions. You've already egregiously overstained that rug way past return policy, woo stock. Maybe consider trading in those cuckoo glossolalic patch raps about your yonic chemitrakin investment for some much-needed therapeutic psychedelics to uncluster whatever the fuck is going on between your ears.